What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Dr. Blue Duck podcast. Now, today we're going to be talking about something that is super controversial here. And I almost don't even want to talk about it because I know there are going to be some people in the comments that are like, oh, I'm going to destroy you for saying this. But I'm going to say it right here. We're going to be talking about console versus PC gaming. As a dad. I'm adding that prepositional phrase there, as a dad, because that is crucial. We know automatically that PC gaming, if you have a nice enough gaming PC, if you put in the $3,000+ into getting the best graphics card and everything that you need, we know with the best monitor that hands down gaming on a PC in the perfect conditions is better in terms of graphics and frame rates and resolution and all of that. But the prepositional phrase here, as a dad, is crucial. So let me explain to you guys something. I work in a high school as a high school art teacher, and there we have a PC. It's really the only time that I use a PC much. I used to use a PC all the time. And the problem that I always have with my work computer is just randomly things fail. I come into work after a weekend or after, a couple of days, and something just doesn't work. Some app, some software, the printer, the second screen, something just does not work. And it's not because anyone messed with it. It's always issues with drivers or system tweaks or the network doing something different. I know network isn't completely associated with gaming PCs, but there's always an issue. And every time I talk to the IT guys, which they are amazing at my work, super supportive, but they're hardcore PC people. One guy is a WoW player, so he's definitely hardcore PC. So they always put down Mac, in a jocular sense, even though I use Mac because to me, as an artist, Mac is reliable. But, that's a whole debate right there. But I always bring it up to them. I'm like, you guys are PC guys, but there's always an issue with a PC. There's always a driver update or a new download or this or that, and they have to come in and they have to fix it. And it's typically like a reinstall of a driver, reinstall on an app. I mean, just with simple stuff, just like the printer. I mean, why does the printer stop working on a PC, on a Windows-based PC? It shouldn't. It shouldn't. That's not an issue that you deal with Macs, okay? But we know Macs are horrible for gaming. So as a gaming dad, as someone who doesn't have a lot of time to game, I'm working full time. I come home, I'm going to play with my kids for a little bit, talk to my wife. And then when I sit down to play a video game, I don't want to do a driver update. I don't want to have to figure out why something isn't working. I don't want to have to do system tweaks. I don't want to make sure I have the right, check the system requirements before finding out if this game will actually play on my gaming PC. I don't want to deal with any of that. I want to sit down and play a video game because I might only have 15, 20, 30 minutes to be able to game responsibly. So that is one reason right there that I prefer a console over a PC as a gaming dad. Another reason as well is it's living room and couch friendly. My personal setup, I have my gaming studio here. My gaming studio, I have an Xbox Series X, I have a PlayStation 5 Pro, and I have the Switch. And of course, I do have the Switch 2 on pre-order, so eventually that'll be a Switch. Right here, I have my Portal 2. I typically bring that into the bedroom and play it before bed. And in the living room on our larger TV, on my 4K TV, I have an Xbox Series X. So I have two. Yeah, I know I have two. So I like to go in there sometimes at nights when I get home from work, whenever, early Saturday mornings when I'm trying to wake up, and I like to sit back on the couch, hold the controller. I'm half awake and I just game, and it's comfortable. I don't have to be at a desk. I don't have to have my mouse and keyboard in that position. playing, I can just relax. And my kids can be jumping around me, they can be laying on me, and I could be laying back relaxing. So, like I said, I'm a gaming dad. I'm not a hardcore competitive esports athlete. There's a difference. So to me, it's less stress to be able to be in that comfortable position. I don't have to worry about, GPU issues or RAM compatibility or anything like that. I just sit on that couch, load up the game, and play. Every once in a while, there's an update, but it's nothing too bad. There's no random Windows updates mid-game or anything like that. So another reason why I prefer console over PC as a gaming dad is to make content. I like to make content. I like to share things. Sometimes I'm playing a game and something neat happens. It's interesting. I'm like, wow, that was kind of cool. That looked kind of neat. And I can hold down on a button and it will capture the previous 30 seconds. A little keynote if you're new to this, if you're on a 4K monitor or television, it will record that in 4K, the last previous 30 seconds. If you are not on a 4K monitor, it will only record it at 1080, even if you're on a 2K monitor. In my gaming room right now, I have a 2K monitor, so when I record gameplay, it only records it at 1080, which is kind of frustrating. So I am trying to save some money to eventually buy a 4K gaming monitor for my gaming studio. That way I can record games at 4K on that. And it's just, you're kicking back, you're having fun, you're recording, and something cool happens. I'm not trying to stream, I'm not trying to record gameplay, but you see something neat or just something worked out well, you just hold down on that button and then it records the previous 30 seconds in 4K if you're on a 4K TV or 4K monitor. So to me, that's kind of neat. I compile those together in InShot. Hey, I'm giving away my secrets right now for those of you who follow my YouTube shorts or my TikTok, but I compile them in InShot on my phone. I can straight download them. I add some text to communicate and I just upload it and get a few hundred views here and there, but it's my way to be able to share what I'm doing with other people. And to me, gaming with a community is so much more interesting and exciting and fun and so much more of a hobby than just gaming by myself. If I see something and something neat happens and it's like, oh, cool, I saw that and nobody else. Wow. But when I see something I can record and I can share it with multiple people, there's just something special about that. So recording gameplay on my PlayStation 5 Pro, I can also stream live in 1080p to YouTube and Twitch. I typically stream now on YouTube. So it's so easy to do with voice chat. It records my voice. And I can even have my little PlayStation 5 camera, which is garbage, by the way. But if I do want to show my face, I can do that. And it works. It's seamless. It's easy. Yes, I've done the Elgato capture card through my Mac and streamed that way with all the bells and whistles. I had a foot pedal where I could have different things come up on the screen. But to me, I got to a place in my life where I'm like, I'm not going to be a full-time streamer. I'm just not going to do it. If I were, things would have to give in my life. And I don't want to sacrifice my health. I don't want to sacrifice my sleep because that's part of my health. And I don't want to sacrifice time with my boys. I don't want to sacrifice time with my wife. I just don't have the time to be a streamer. It sounds kind of cool, streaming hours and hours a day, but in reality, it's just not for me. It's not my calling. I figured I'm more of a video podcast type person, and I stream every once in a while just for fun with my buddies from my life group at church, and that's how I do it. I remember talking to my dad a while back. I think it was like around COVID, around that time, and he said to me, He goes, you just don't have the time to be streaming online for hours a day. And even though I thought maybe I could make sacrifices and do it, the reality is I don't have that time. And I'm not willing to make those sacrifices because people are important to me. My family is important to me. And it's not my calling. It's not my calling to be a streamer. So the simple streaming, when I do play at times, and it's every other Thursday nights, stream Fortnites with my Bible study life group builders guys. We stream on there. So, you can check that out. It's nothing fancy. It's just us talking, goofing around. We are not good at all, but we have fun. We talk about life. So to me, that's kind of what gaming should be. It should be a hobby. It should be fun. It should be life-giving. And it should not be a huge setup. I don't want the huge setup. I want to just be able to play. For me, the hobby is playing. It's not setting up to play. It's not the whole planning process. It's actually playing because I have other hobbies I do. I'm an artist. I'm a painter. I display my artwork in art shows in my town in Los Angeles and professional galleries. I also I'm working on illustrating a children's book. I've done a couple of those. I write novels and books. So I do all of that stuff as well. So I just don't have the time just to set stuff up and play with it and stream for hours. So my hobby is gaming, not setting up two games. So that's why, I do like to prefer gaming on console because you don't have to worry about crashes. You don't have to worry about viruses. And to me, as a gaming dad, once again, as a gaming dad, that's the point here. So for all you keyboard warriors in the comments, getting ready to tear me up here, that's the point. As a gaming dad, console works better for me. Also, as a gaming dad, I can have my son, right now he's playing through this Star Wars. He's 5 years old and he doesn't play a whole lot. We don't just let him play at all times, but he's playing a little bit through the Star Wars Lego Skywalker saga. And he's in A New Hope right now. Towards the end of it, though, he's doing pretty good. He can figure it out pretty well. And we're able to let him be able to turn on the Xbox and load that game and play it. Now, I would not let any kid, a 5-year-old or whatever, get on a gaming PC where they have access to browsers and all types of other things on the internet by themselves and load up a game. Now, hey, you might do that, but we're not going to open anything like that up to our kids. We don't want them to have the opportunity or even the possibility to go to web browsers and do that. And you might be able to say like, well, you could do that on Xbox. Yeah, but it's hard. Okay, on PlayStation, it's hard to use the browser. Whereas on a PC, you just click a button and it pops up. It could be really easy and somewhat dangerous for kids today. So as a gaming dad, that's another reason why I prefer console over a gaming PC. Now, let's talk about this. The price. Now, some people might be saying, hey, you work full time, you have 2 kids, you're responsible. You can definitely buy a gaming PC. You can save up and buy a gaming PC. And the gaming PC that I would actually want probably be about $3,000. And I know prices and parts are going up right now like crazy. So it might even be about $3,500. Then you add tax and all those issues. That's a lot of money. That's a whole lot of money to spend on me. And even though our family might be able to do that, it's not wise for my family to do that. It's not wise for me to do that. So, I have the PlayStation 5 Pro. The reason I bought that, you might be thinking, well, that's like $700. But the way I bought it, I sold my PlayStation 5 at a pretty good price, got that money and put it towards the PlayStation 5 Pro. So that way it wasn't really as much. So cost-wise, yeah, I could buy a gaming PC. But for me personally, my conviction, that would be a selfish thing to do. I could also go buy me some sports car too, and take out a loan to do that. And that would be a selfish thing to do as well. There's just certain things, and dads, there's certain things we're just not going to do because we probably could. It's not going to kill us to do it, but it's not the wise thing to do. And as dads, we want to lead as example to our families and our kids and everyone else for being as being a responsible person, to be a responsible person. So just a $3,000, $3,500 gaming PC is just not wise for me right now. So I'm not going to use it as a regular computer because I trust Mac. I use Mac. I'm an iPhone guy. I love it. I've been using Mac for years, since like 2004. I switched over to Mac and haven't looked back. Yes, it is horrible for gaming, and that's the downside. But when you're doing any type of video work, any type of animation, any type of even streaming, it works great and it's completely reliable. So that's what I use. Another thing, some years ago, I'm going to tell you a story. Some years ago, when I first bought this home, I was single. I was younger, and I had a buddy who could build custom PCs. So I told him I wanted to build a custom gaming PC, and I wanted to build a good one that was going to last. So we ordered all the parts online. We put it together, and then things started to happen. Things needed to be reinstalled. Things needed to be rebooted. Things needed a different driver. Found out certain things weren't as compatible as they could be. There was workarounds, and you had to download things for the workaround. And that caused issues with something else, which caused issues for something else. So then you had to download something for that, which altered this, and you had to set up. It was a nightmare. Eventually, I just sold it to someone for dirt cheap and said, I don't want to deal with it anymore because I don't have the time. I'm a working professional person. I didn't have the time then, and I don't have the time now. Now, for some people, and maybe this is you, that is your hobby. And I talked to my buddy and I said, why do you like to do this when there's all these issues? And I said, do I just have bad luck? Do you have these issues? And he goes, oh no, that's just dealing with building computers and keeping them up to date. And he said that he actually loves figuring out what's wrong with computers and finding solutions. And he says that's like his hobby. He enjoys doing that. And that's great for him, but it's not my hobby. It's kind of like my car. Like I have a vehicle, I have a car, and I want it to work, and I want it to be reliable. And some people might want to buy a better looking car, like a classic, and they want to restore it. And when something goes out or breaks, to them, it's a fun challenge because then they get to spend that Saturday underneath the car, redoing the engine, looking for the right parts, customizing it. And they love spending their Saturday mornings, underneath the car, getting their hands dirty doing that. Not me. I want to be able to hop in my car and I want it to work. Yes, there's always going to be some upkeep you have to do on a car. You have to take it in. You got to get it serviced, all of that. And just with any type of computer or gaming system, you're going to have to do updates every once in a while. But I don't want something where a large portion of my time is spent doing the updates or the upkeep or the fidgeting or the figuring everything out. I don't want that as a gaming dad. Here we go. Back to as a gaming dad, I want to be able to log in, or not even log in. I want the login to be automatic, where I just press A or press my button here, the X button, and it just opens up. My games are there. Worst case scenario, I have to do an update on the game, and then I play. So I just don't have the time to mess around with all that. So my advice, if you are thinking about getting, or if you're in between getting a console or a gaming PC, as a dad, if you are not a guy who enjoys spending all the time configuring everything and updating everything and problem solving and troubleshooting, if you don't enjoy that and your time is limited, my advice for you is to get a console. The console that I currently recommend right now, I used to be an Xbox guy, but just recently the Xbox prices have shot up. And for years, I've been dealing with issues with Xbox. And I don't know why, but every once in a while, I'll load up a game and it doesn't load up. It's just like a black screen. Every once in a while, the system will just bug out and restart. And this doesn't happen nearly as much as I hear that it happens on Windows gaming PCs, but it does happen. It does happen on Xbox. So recently I started buying more games on PlayStation using my PlayStation 5 Pro. And I gotta be honest, I'm not having those same issues. Everything is seamless. It is working so well, and I'm impressed. And for years, I was, always had both systems, but I kind of leans more towards Xbox was my first choice. And then if they didn't have a game on Xbox, I went with PlayStation. But I am leaning more towards PlayStation right now. And yeah, you might be thinking, well, how do you do that when you have your catalog of games? Well, a lot of games that I play, yeah, I did have to double buy some games. A lot of games I play, um, well, not all of them, but some of the games I play are games that are free to play, like Fortnite. So that's one you can have on all systems. But and pretty soon back on the iPhone as well. But some games I just double buy. I mean, if it's a game I'm going to be putting some hours into and it's important to me, I'll just double buy it. And you might be thinking, well, there's a Steam library and the Steam games are so much cheaper than the console games. And yeah, they are a little bit cheaper. That is for sure. But I am in a place in life where I can spend a little bit of money, not $3,500 on a top-notch gaming PC, but I can spend a little bit of money on a game if I'm really going to play that game. And I'm in a stage right now in life where there's so many games and not enough time that I'm being picky with the games that I'm purchasing. And that's the game that I'm putting hours into. So it's okay if I buy a game twice for Xbox and PlayStation, or PlayStation and Switch when the Switch 2 comes out, or whatever, if it's a game that I'm truly going to play and one that I'm going to play for a while. So that's just my opinion. You might be in a different situation. That might not be something that you're willing to do, but for me, it's not that big of a deal. And even though they're not as common as Steam, the Steam store, there are sales that happen on PlayStation and Xbox, and even Switch too, if you're patient enough. You just got to know when those sales come. And my recommendation is to get on some YouTube group. I'm not YouTube, some Facebook groups, and there's people that will tell you when those sales actually take place so you can get the best price possible. So for me, my advice as a gaming dad, there we go again. As a gaming dad, I would recommend a console. Specifically, the console that I'm using right now the most is a PlayStation 5 Pro. It just works seamlessly. It looks gorgeous in bed. I can go ahead and pull out my Portal and play with that in bed. I have decent Wi-Fi in my house, so I don't even really notice any issues at all with that. I did have a Steam Deck at one time. I sold it on eBay because it did not look as good as my PlayStation Portal streaming the PlayStation 5 Pro. So this is your chance now. Get below and tear me up and tell me all these horrible things about console and how the games don't look as good. I mean, this is your time. I'm going to open it up for you guys to do that. And I do understand they don't look as good as they do on console, but I don't have to configure or deal with any of the settings. I just get there, open it up, and play the game. And for me, once again, as a gaming dad, that is where I'm at in life right now. So anyways, that is it. I hope I got to be a little bit insightful there with that information and encourage you to make a decision if you are searching for that. And maybe I'll change, maybe the next couple of years, maybe Xbox and Steam will come out with a unit that's the same thing and plays the same games, and I'm going to switch that. Who knows? But right now, I'm looking forward to the Switch 2. I'm really excited about that. And I've been playing my PlayStation 5 Pro most of the time, and honestly, mostly probably on my Portal, because that's when I have the most time to game, is right before bed. I play a game that kind of calms me down and helps me go to sleep. So anyways, thank you for tuning in here to the Dr. Blue Duck podcast. Be kind, use your mind, and game on.